Hello, and welcome to History Talk. Hello, and welcome back to History Talk. That's a little tin whistle intro for you. Yeah. Not very good, but anyway, let's dive into today. We're going to be talking about Éamon de Valera. This is it's not short, but it's well, actually, just to inform you, basically, if you view our Let's Talk About Politics and Society videos and these videos, then you're as far as I can tell, you're a good person based on that information, because that's helpful doing those kind of videos, because I mean, we all like to be able to say that that you can support them. Anyway, the point is that it's also available as a Let's Talk About Politics and Society video. So without further ado, coming to our first minute, let's go ahead and head in to the video. Anyway, so today we're going to be looking at Éamon de Valera. So, Éamon de Valera. So, Éamon de Valera was the Taoiseach, Taoiseach is the kind of the leader of the main party. He's the head of the government, essentially. Or she, while they have had a female president, Ireland has had a bit of trouble getting a female Taoiseach for some weird reason. I believe it's called sexism and, stupidity. So basically, not a very equal position, but not a very equal man, Éamon de Valera. So Éamon de Valera will be seen by many as, a man who succeeded in gaining what you might call real independence from the British. You see, basically, although Britain had given Ireland freedom, they hadn't really given them much. So they gave them more than home rule, but they had essentially still made it so that you still have to swear allegiance to the king. Although later on, they made politicians swear allegiance to the king or queen. That wasn't actually the British government. That was the Irish government. And you're just like, why? People don't like that. Why would you introduce a policy which has absolutely no purpose? Someone can just lie and say, yeah, king, sure, yeah, sure. No. You don't introduce a policy that has no real benefit except it really annoys people. It just makes your government look like you're, Isteach san laba, lech on dini ho. And Sasna. That's Irish, by the way, so you can do with that what you will. Anyway, so basically, Éamon de Valera could be seen as that man who managed to actually helped to have Ireland gain its real independence. So he managed to make it so that the Queen or / King was no longer head of state, and all these, major things that made Ireland an actual republic and not just a country that was basically, obviously a little bit of power had to be given up, but it's not real power. It's kind of it's a bit dodgy. Anyway, the point is that he could be seen as that. But you can also see a little bit of a darker side of the story, which is the Irish Constitution, which is a very, very, very problematic thing. I'm not saying other constitutions are not bad. Multiple ones are. You never make a constitution that is based on religion, wealth, gender, sexuality, or anything like that. Because you're bound to have some people who are making it who are going to slip some things in there that are, problematic. It's just not a good idea to base something off your own personal beliefs. Just have it, not simple, but, just maybe it's not that complicated just to not be sexist, just to have sexist people making laws. But that's the problem, because you get the church involved. Now, while Irish people did have they were very, church believing, the church did have power already, but they had even more power because of the old fella Éamon de Valera, who unfortunately caused a lot of problems. A lot of problems, realistically. Because the problem is that if you give the power to the church, who are the Catholic Church in Ireland, they begin to dip into the coffers a bit. They begin to take control of schools. Not to take control of schools, but they own the schools. And they're allowed basically free run of the place. It becomes a very problematic situation because not only that, but a lot of the Constitution is written and it's quite sexist. Obviously, a church that is known for being homophobic is not the best thing you want to have in power, essentially. I mean, I wouldn't call him a puppet leader. I'm just to say that he kind of, not that he was a puppet, but he was hanging around with people who had the same ideas as him. So it's the kind of thing you see there. Like when you have the church on the medical board of hospitals, why? They're a church. I'm not insulting religion or anything, but they're based on belief. A hospital is based on curing people of things, diseases. I mean, it's just not a good idea to have a church on basis of like, oh yeah, no, this person is fine. Really? Are they? Don't think they are. No, it's just this. No. No, this person should be. Why shouldn't this person be treated? It becomes problematic when you have people who are, in charge, who have side business on. Well, not side business. Their main business is, belief and praying and that sort of thing. You have a problem when you allow that into your country and you sort of mix it in with everything, and that begins to cause a lot of problems. To this day, the Constitution is very problematic. For example, this is the speech that Éamon de Valera made in 1943 on St. Patrick's Day. So, this, enjoy it at your own leisure and be careful though, it's quite disgusting really at the end of the day. The ideal Ireland we would have had, the Ireland that we would have dreamed of, would be the home of a people who valued material wealth only as a basis for the right living. Of a people who, satisfied with frugal comfort, devoted their leisure to things of the spirit. A land whose countryside would be bright with cosy homesteads, whose fields and villages would be joyous with the sounds of industry, with the romping of sturdy children, and consistent athletic youths, and laughter of happy maidens, whose firesides would be forms of wisdom and serene old age. The home, in short, of a people living the life that God desires that men should live. With the tidings that make such an Ireland possible, St. Patrick came to our ancestors 1,500 years ago, promising happiness here, no less the happiness hereafter. It was the pursuit of such an Ireland that later made our country worthy to be called the island of saints and scholars. It was an idea of such an Ireland, happy, vigorous, spiritual, that fired the imaginations of our poets, that made successful generations of patriotic men to give their lives to win religious and political liberty, and that will urge men in our own and future generations to die, if need be, so that these liberties may be preserved. So, yeah, that was his speech. That's just one of his speeches. So that speech, it was all right to begin with, I guess. I think it's good enough, to have material wealth only as a basis for living, who when you're satisfied with frugal comfort, as long as you're satisfied with it. It's not that good if you're not satisfied, and then it's like, oh, I live with it though, because then it's like, yeah, but you want it, you want more. Then that's not an ideal world. But if you satisfied with it, yeah, that's good. But then it becomes very, 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 very patriarchal and sexist. And then, amazingly, he manages to put religion into a speech that St. Patrick is famed as introducing Christianity into Ireland. Now, you could argue, yeah, that's fair for the church to celebrate him, but you could argue, well, if you're not really Christian, then why would you celebrate a man who forced religion into people? I mean, I get it. Why would you celebrate if they were Christian? It's like, oh, well, this is our religion. But if you're not, it's like, oh yes, St. Patrick forced a religion on an entire nation. Yes, the Romans came here and they had no luck. The people just went, no. Christianity isn't really our kind of thing. We don't really like that. It's just there's just something about it. It just seems like it doesn't really have enough evidence going towards it. You believe in like monsters that you believe in druids and things. No, the druids are real. Yeah, but you believe that they can do things. Well, yes, we do. But the fact is, the druids are real. You have a book full of things where we are like, we're more of a sort of an equal society as well. That little thing where you're like really sexist, we don't really have that in our place. That's not something we like to have. And then obviously you could argue, well, that bring that in is something which as a Christian you can get behind, but if you're not, well, oppression is not something you want to get behind. Anyway, but then it becomes kind of dark because it's the sort of thing where it's like, I will urge our men in our own and future generations to die if need be, so the liberties may be preserved. What I'm saying is that Éamon de Valera is not exactly the best fella in town to be wanting. I mean, yes, he did help Ireland achieve their full freedom, but if you look at the Irish Constitution, the amount of amendments that needed to be implemented, and the amount of amendments that need to still be implemented because of him and his cozying up to the church. I'm talking like real cozying up. This is like literally, basically handing over. People talk about, how the church basically had more power than the government. That's, you could argue, because they were giving it. Like, the church had a powerful position in Ireland to begin with, but the government was being formed. There was no real need for anyone to, when a government is being formed, you can block out things like that because it's a new government. You can say, no. You had an input in, you had an input in people's perceptions. You had an input in the people who went over to Westminster when that was the case, but no more. No. There'll be no corruption in this government. And that is a possible thing you do. But the problem is, when you've got people like Éamon de Valera who don't want to, who just hand over that kind of power, that causes many problems for many generations down the line. Like, there are multiple deaths that have been caused by this. There's been multiple atrocities that have been caused by this. And, just a general oppression. And just, there's the impact is continuing today. The position that countries like Ireland are in today is because of this problem. And, to look at Éamon de Valera, well, we probably will look at this again because this isn't enough detail. But, basically, remember, Éamon de Valera, not the nicest fella, introduces patriarchy, homophobia, and multiple other things by introducing the church to the government and saying, yeah, listen to these people. Yeah, bit of a weird thing to do. Amen. Bit of a weird thing to do indeed. But I guess, this is why you don't let people like Éamon de Valera into power. But then, this is the problem. As I've said before, remember, sometimes you just gotta be careful when you're having a fella like that. Anyway, hopefully we'll see you next time. And please, if you were insulted by this, I understand. If you're Irish and you're insulted, no. Éamon de Valera, yeah, did help gain the freedom, but just other stuff, very, very bad, and kind of made him an awful person, and you could argue quite evil as well because it was intentional. So anyway, see you next time. Hopefully, please do tune in next time, and yes. Please do subscribe to this Mythical YouTube channel. It does help. Well, yes, I mean, if you're at a certain level, it does help, yeah. And then if you view other videos, that really, really does help, because if viewing other, it's like the subscribers help you grow, which helps you get to more viewers. So if you view other videos, like I think we have like it's close to 1,000. It's either, yeah. Is it 1,000 already? I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, so anyway, if you know it is close to 1,000, means you can view 1,000 other videos or more. So go ahead, and thank you for listening once again.